it's definitely the financial crisis of '08. And that for me was a moment of truth. It was one of those times where everything that you think you're made of is called into question. And I would say that in life you think you are something until you're actually confronted with the issue. And you just don't know. You don't know when it comes to your team, and you don't know when it comes to yourself. And so in that crisis, we learned a lot about our individual teammates, and I think we learned individually a great deal about ourselves. And I think it was one of the most significant challenges. There were lots of other challenges along the way, but that was very, very significant because in the face of near financial Armageddon, we had a choice. And the choice was to continue to do what you do, which in our situation was to be very contrary, and to continue to buy stocks as they were falling off cliffs. Or you could sort of sit on your hands and wait for the dust to settle, which was a very safe and reasonable thing to do. And we decided to buy. And so we were buying stocks like Gannett, which were at one time earning at $1.67 a share. We were buying stocks like Royal Caribbean, where an analyst took the price of the stock in one day from a target price of $19 a share to $1. And these were crazy, crazy, crazy moments. And to watch it every single day was extraordinarily trying. It was also very hard because clients left. And I'd spent 19 years trying to get people to have faith and trust in us and to build up, create wealth for them. And they just easily walked out the door, and I was devastated for a moment. And I actually have a really brilliant boyfriend who said to me, Melody, you're from Chicago. And in Chicago, the one thing that you know about is snow. And I said, okay, I don't know where you're going with this. And he said, well, one of the things you know about when you're in a blizzard, you watch your feet. You never look up at the storm. Because if you look up at the storm, you lose your footing and you fall. But if you watch your feet, you just get from one place to the next. You're in the middle of a really bad storm. Watch your feet. And so I went back to my office and I said to everyone, we're just watching our feet. Our goal is to get till tomorrow, and then to get to next week, and then to get to next month, and then to get to next year. And if we get to next year, we're going to be fine. And it was one of those moments that I have to say that was extraordinarily challenging. Last but not least, I would say, there was a day I remember waking up and the futures markets were already down several hundred points. And I was staring at my mirror, and I wake up really early in the morning. And I was thinking to myself, God, this is going to be a really hard day yet again. And I kind of was hyperventilating, and I'm not that person. And then the only thing that I could think of to get me through that moment was to say, Warren Buffett does not hyperventilate. So if Warren Buffett is sleeping soundly somewhere in this country, which I'm sure he is because it was 4 in the morning, I said, I think I'm going to be fine. So those were the kind of things that I thought about at the time. It was a blizzard, watch your feet. Warren Buffett does not hyperventilate.
Thank you. Liz, what was your greatest career challenge?
Well, I work in emerging market debt, and basically since I started back in 1994, we had a crisis almost every year or every other year. So in 94, it was the peso devaluation. In 95, it was the Argentine and tequila crisis. In 96, 7, we followed that with the Asian crisis. In 98, it was the Russian crisis. In 99, Brazil devalued. I could go on. And then followed by the 2008, which was a big one, global banking crisis, I guess, or U.S. banking crisis, however you want to term it. But I think for me, in terms of work-related crises, I basically walked into all of them. And so in 2008, that was actually not that bad because I'd been there before. I think one of the greatest challenges for me has really been more on a personal level. At the end of last year, my boss was basically given his walking papers from TCW. He then left to start his own firm, DoubleLine, and he gave me the option to follow him. And for that option, I basically was going to walk away from a job into a new job with no promises of payment because we were a startup. And so there was no money. Nobody was going to be earning anything for some time. But he also gave us the promise of owning the company. And I had to think long and hard about it because it wasn't just myself, that I was making that decision for, but my team. Because he also asked that if I wanted to bring some of the team members, he offered, that if I wanted to bring some of the team members, that I could do so. And so I had that very difficult conversation with some of my team members, a couple of whom I've been working with since the mid-90s, and one in particular who is a father. He's the sole income earner and is a father of 4. And when he decided to join me, I just felt incredibly, again, blessed and lucky, because here's this man placing his trust in me, and I'm placing my trust in somebody else. And I think we all decided to take that leap of faith. And now it's been 7 months later, and I'd say we couldn't be happier about our decision. We are very, we're very hopeful about the business, and I think we've gotten off to a great start.
Mary Ellen?
My greatest challenge was in 2000, deciding to leave a company that I had spent 21 years at and had helped build a business and led a team and led a significant part of the company. And the business had been acquired and things changed very radically. It was just different. It wasn't necessarily better or worse, it was different. And I had to start over. And I knew my decision was going to provoke others on the team, and I knew it would put clients and our shareholders into a bit of a challenge in terms of what their decision was ultimately going to be. As I told Luz when we met earlier, that I can understand the emotion of what she's going through, having gone through that, and I hope her story is like mine, that 10 years later, the challenges get minimized emotionally, and you remember the good things, and you see the success that's come about it. But as Melody said, those kinds of environments, whether they be market-related or a change in terms of where your address is going to be, it really defines you. And that's when you decide how tough you really can be and what's important to you. And the final thing, my husband's a dentist. He has a great line for me whenever I get wound up about something professionally. He'll say to me, "Did anybody die?" I missed that part of the story. And it's disarming, because you always stop and laugh and go, "No, actually, nobody did die yet." And he grounds me. And that really is very, very helpful to have that kind of perspective around you, that when you think the end-all and the be-all is something about this business, and then you get back to the basics, quite helpful.
Ivka?
I actually don't have one greatest challenge, or rather, I have the same challenge in this business that I feel like I never really overcome, and that is that from my perspective, there's a dichotomy in the business, and it may have to do with who I am, but when I do my job, I see the world as a really big shade of gray. So there's really no right answers, and when I look at what I can invest in and how I can make money for my clients, I sort of recognize the fact that I'm going to be wrong all the time, and the whole point of the exercise is to get the numbers on my side and to make decisions, because I have to take risk, I have to make decisions, and then hopefully, if I'm doing my job well, then I'm going to make more right decisions than wrong decisions. So there's that side of it, big gray area. The market is different every day, and what I believed yesterday may be different from what I believe today. And yet, when I speak with my colleagues, when I talk to potential clients, they want certainty. They want to know which direction is the market going, and you're the one, you're the expert, you're supposed to know that, so please tell me, and what is the next hot stock? And so dealing with that dichotomy of at least understanding the uncertainty and sometimes being on the wrong side of it and feeling like I'm an idiot, and yet being able to convey a sense of confidence to the outside world is a huge challenge for me personally, and one that I face every day, and I can't really say that I've overcome it.